Hello, everyone. JMOR Tech Talk Show, where we answer questions about technology, explain the way they should work, and why they don't sometimes. And now here's your host, John C. Morley. Hey, everyone. It's John C. Morley. Welcome once again to the JMOR Tech Talk Show with my trusted co-host here, Marcus Hart. Welcome.
Hey,
We have another great show tonight, don't we, Marcus?
Yes, we do. And thank you for the warm welcome, John. It's definitely a pleasure to be with you live on camera.
It's always great to have you live on camera. Our viewers want to see the person that's doing the magic, and making our voice sound great and getting this sent out to all the wonderful people tonight that are actually watching this or rewatching this on Instagram, Facebook, and many other platforms that I haven't mentioned. So Marcus does a lot of hard work. So definitely want to give him a kudos and a shout out there. People don't realize I'm actually an engineer, but being an audio engineer is fun too, because you have a lot of work you have to do to get this to sound right and look right, or you're going to not sound very well and people aren't going to want to watch you.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, very important. You bring up some really excellent points there, John. Thank you for.
You're welcome. You know, speaking about points, you know, actually points in New Jersey, New Jersey drivers, they're saying with no DUIs, that's driving under the influence, will pay less in August. This is according to the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission. So New Jersey drivers, they're saying there's just one simple truth to this. Okay. Your car insurance doesn't want you to know this. Wonder why. You have to drive less than 50 miles a day, and you have to live in a qualified zip code.
Oh,
and
really?
If you have no DUIs, they say you can get even more discounts. But, of course, your auto insurance company is not going to want to share that savings with you. And just to show you some of the examples, I was really blown away by this, Marcus. An old 6-month premium on a standard car is roughly around $119 a month. A new 6-month premium starts out at just $36.40 a month. So that's $717.14 roughly on a 6-month premium, and on a new 6-month premium, $218.50. Maybe you'll buy yourself some extra Gatorade or take the family out for some extra entertainment in a COVID-friendly place, or practice social distancing, doing some type of activity outside. Also something important to say about this is that this was actually seen on AOL, MSN, Yahoo, Forbes, and CNN. So you know this is a really trusted thing that's going around. And they said this before, but they're actually rewarding people because of this, because they want safe drivers on the road. But another thing, Marcus, when we think about points, you know, if you drive too fast, you probably get points, right, on your license?
Right.
Well, Uber and Lyft, which sometimes they do that, but, you know, they're actually not getting written up this time for driving too fast or pulling over too quickly or not signaling. It's another issue that's happening. The people that are working for them are actually starting to have an issue now with Lyft and Uber, because now they're fighting for something to change this model of what used to be like a franchise model in California. They're now making it that they have to be considered employees.
What? Say it ain't
Yeah.
so.
Isn't that insane? So Uber and Lyft, and this is starting in Oakland, California.
Yeah.
And this actually just came out on August 18th. Uber and Lyft are both facing the pressures to classify their drivers as employees in California. So they're looking for another way. Yeah, they're looking to get around the truth and hide what it is. I mean, I think there's two things you can do in life, Marcus. We don't like people that lie, but I talked to somebody today and they said they don't lie, but they just omit the truth.
Right.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty hot garbage if you ask me. And to me, what it sounds like there's a big push in someone's pocketbook. Telling them like, hey, I add an extra couple zeros if you pull a couple. Uh,
I was thinking the same thing. You read my mind. A quote from Matt Kaltman, who is the Uber spokesman, and I quote, he said the work on establishing fleets was exploratory and that the company was not sure whether a fleet model would ultimately be viable in California. A Lyft spokeswoman, Julie Wood, and I quote, said the company had looked at alternative models but favored an approach where drivers remain independent and can work wherever they want while also receiving additional health care benefits and an earning guarantee. I don't know. I just feel that they don't pay for the car, right? You have
right.
wear and tear on your vehicle. You have gas. They really don't pay for that. I know they pay for the tolls, but from some of the drivers I talk to, they do these short trips that are like less than a mile, and they really don't make money. But the problem, Marcus, is that they'll send somebody that's 20 miles away or 30 miles away if there's not a closer driver. Did you know that?
Yeah, and that's pretty horrible, and it's pretty horrible for the passenger, who's riding, and then it's horrible for the driver who has to put the gas, who has to, maybe he skipped out on lunch to go pick up this person, so
Well, what about the wear and tear on the car or the vehicle?
yeah, we're not even talking about that. So there definitely could be some extra accommodations here if you want these people to to make your service right.
I think the main thing comes down to the fact that these companies have always been cheap,
Right.
and they're trying to just skirt by. If you actually drive, I believe it's like an Uber in New York, you can't actually accurately or really legally operate without getting a cab medallion.
Yeah.
So if you operate in New Jersey and you pick up people in New Jersey and you drive them to New York, you can just shovel them off in New York, but you're not allowed to get a fare to come back. The only way you can do that is if the meter keeps running. People don't want to pay for that. And while you're in the store, you'll actually wait for them for an hour or two. The meter keeps running, and then they get
Mhm.
back in the car and they get back and they can drive back to New Jersey. So I think that's just wild. They make you pay this money for a medallion, and I heard that you don't have to buy them; you can rent them. And supposedly I think they're close to a couple $1,000s a week.
Wow. Yeah.
So the only people I know that make money with these Uber and Lyft are the people that do these airport runs, but they want to do the long runs. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I was talking to somebody I knew not too long ago that was doing Uber and Lyft, and they went to pick up people from the airport, but they make it extremely ridiculous. You have to be in the special parking lot. You have to wait in the queue. If you get out of the parking lot, then you're out of the queue. Some places they want you to put a thing in your window to show that you're Uber or Lyft driver. And then it gets worse, Marcus. You have to have the manifest of the passenger you're actually picking up.
Yeah, they're getting really crazy with this stuff, and again, these corporations, they got the money, they got the power, and they don't tend to fight for the little person. They tend to try to do what they can to and someone on Periscope said medallions are nearly impossible to get. So
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're so hard, and they're like they almost kill to get them.
yeah. Yeah, so I'll imagine that they had to nearly sell blood, to be able to, make the money that that they advertise and to promise, that they promise that that you're gonna make nowadays.
Exactly, and not to mention the taxes you probably have to pay back to New York, right?
Right? Yeah. So New York has to be the most horrible place to be a Lyft driver or Uber
The
driver.
change is supposed to resemble an independently operated franchise to allow Uber and Lyft to keep their arm's length association with drivers so that companies would not need to employ them. Now, I don't know about you, Marcus, but I think that's a below the belt move. They're going to
Yeah.
make them kind of buy a franchise.
Ooh, you might as well
Ooh.
just go be a cab driver at this point, or or go work for a, be one of those, those black tie, the real you go, luxury sedan driver, some of those guys, go get your chauffeur license, so I mean, because it's going to be just as expensive then, because it sounds, anything that says franchise, is usually pretty taxing.
Although this law supposedly went into effect, I think it was in January, that Uber and Lyft have not complied with, they're arguing, they said that it's simply a tech platform. Isn't that funny how they get around that? And they're not a transportation business. Well, what the heck are they? Come on.
Well, to me, I have utilized the service while I was in California, and I remember being a regular person. I didn't call myself an android when I walked in there.
I
You know,
know, isn't it crazy? And the one guy, he says that Uber and Lyft owes him $495,949. He didn't put cents. I guess he doesn't care about that. And he's holding up some fingers. It looks like it's two. It's not a middle finger. Looks like it owes him. He says for 2 years that they haven't paid
wow.
him that. And in May, California sued Uber and Lyft to enforce this new law. So that's why it's becoming so popular in the state of California, because they're starting to take this seriously. The lawmakers saying, hey, wait a minute, we need to protect the people that are working because they're really not being treated very fairly. So it'd be interesting to follow that story, Marcus, and just see, what's going to happen and how is that going to resonate with people? Is it going to make a difference, or is it going to get people, like you said, to become taxi drivers? Are they going to be able to get those medallions, like the gentleman said on Periscope? Is that even going to become a reality?
Yeah, I just don't see it. I see a lot of people just gonna, get turned off by this. The more they add the restrictions and the extra requirements, and then you add that word franchise. It usually means, some type of licensing process or some type of extra dollars involved with, getting started. So,
I
or if
I
if
agree.
there's
So
nothing up front, they're going to be taking more out
I
of
mean,
your
I
commission.
think if I was head of Lyft or Uber, I think the one thing I've learned is that, when you have gig workers, you have to understand what a gig worker is, which is a 1099, and what an employee is. And
Right.
when you start to impose too many rules on a gig worker, guess what? They're no longer a gig worker, they're your employee.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting, but I know with the lawyers, they're probably going to have a lot of back and forth. But I think in the end, I think Lyft and Uber are going to have to cough up some serious dough.
Yeah. And it's, and as you notice, it's only happening in these larger cities and states,
New York, California,
yeah.
Philadelphia,
Yeah, where I'm at,
Chicago.
it's not that big of an issue. It's still a pretty efficient service. So I'm not going to knock it too much, but
Yeah.
but like you said, you named all the major cities, and they're having the most headaches.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
speaking of which, there's some other things going on here. There a big headache. Dealerships running out of cars. So,
I
so
mean, I can't believe that dealerships are struggling to keep cars on their lots. They're having this big problem, and I know Cadillac is one of the ones making changes to dealerships to prepare for the new EVs, and oil companies are cutting back on exploration as demand plummets, and these first level gear dealerships, they're running out of cars. And most automakers and suppliers are struggling to keep workers healthy, to keep lines running. I mean, whether we're talking about a car, Marcus, or I think I was telling you not too long ago, I had purchased a dishwasher. I had to wait a month and a half to get this nice high-end dishwasher. But then I found not just high-end dishwashers, but all dishwashers were over a month and a half to get. And I said, why? They said, well, John, it's not that it takes a month and a half to make a dishwasher. I said, well, obviously. It's that the plant has to keep closing down. I said, why? Well, because the one worker gets sick and they have to close the plant for 2 weeks.
oh,
So that's what's happening with the
yeah.
cars.
Oh my
This is
God.
happening with BMW, Honda, Mercedes, and especially the GLE lines. Toyota. They're all having this challenge.
Yeah, and it's like if Ford Motor and GM didn't have issues before in the past, and now now they're facing.
No, they're definitely gonna have issues. And you know what, Marcus? Being a first responder, I respect what's going on with COVID and how everybody's trying to stay safe and practice social distancing. I get it. But you know, one thing we can't do, Marcus, is we can't blame everything on COVID. Okay.
Right.
I get that it's a problem. Believe me, I get it and I sympathize. But I think we need to get back to work. And I believe that that needs to be done in a safe manner. Now, maybe it's not returning to a building, maybe it's working at home. We still need to, the mindset of many people, I think, needs to change
Yeah.
because I just think that they're just waiting for everything to just fall from the sky. And although I do believe the government's responsible for making some changes to help, I don't think they're 100% responsible. Do you know what I'm saying? So we still have to get out there. You know, we're not in a war, but we are in a challenge that I think we just have to be careful with our resources and know how we're going to make the actions that we're going to make and be careful. But I don't think it's a time for us to stay in a glass house, you know, and let people just throw stones at us.
Yeah, John, you're really on the right point. You're really giving out the right message right now, and I think a lot of people need to hear what you're saying, and really, maybe, even just, I wouldn't say hold up your pitchforks at this point, but at some point.
I got a question for some of our listeners. Anybody out there? I mean, can you tell me if you resonate with this? Do you think our workers should go back to work right now? I mean, actually go back to work, not to an office, but like work from their desk and get accommodations from their company. I think the company should provide that so they can work at home, whether it's a laptop or. Do you agree with that, or do you think people should just be staying home and just hoping for something to end? What do you think? What are your thoughts about that? We're going to move on to something else, but as you get thoughts about that, Marcus will cue me into what's happening. And I'd really like to know, I mean, this show is about you and it's about your life. You know, people say we're just about technology, we make IT easy. We do. But you know, this show is about people. It's about you. It's about your life. If you guys don't know how fueled I am with delivering this show, then I don't know. Marcus can definitely tell you that
Yeah,
I'm
he's definitely passionate about what he does, and this show is definitely circulating around how to affect how everything affects your life and how you can be a voice for your life. So put a 1 or a 2 in the chat as we're going on here. So what else is up, John?
Well, you know, there was this new thing that's coming out right now, and you know, you always whenever something's new, I think there's always a challenge. But Panasonic, you remember Panasonic? We don't hear a lot about them. They were the old camcorder company. I mean, we don't really hear that
Yeah,
much, right?
yeah,
The JVC and the VHS. Remember those times?
yeah.
Well,
The nice
Panasonic,
fat boy.
yeah, exactly. The things that used to take an arm and a leg to carry, and if it didn't,
Yeah.
it would probably knock one of them off or make them so tired that you felt like you lost one at the end of the day because it was like carrying more than a load of bricks. I'm going to say maybe like a ton of bricks, right? No pun intended. But Panasonic, you know, had been known for a long time for doing their laptops and stuff. But Panasonic has the idea, the Panasonic new home cubicle. And they're saying that this is going to be the new way it's going to be, which is working from home. And the modern office cubicle is almost like what you'd see in the office, but for some reason, they find that people are missing the not quite walls of the office. You know what they're doing? They're putting up these like little, almost like pegboard, okay?
Yeah.
And they're getting a cheap little desk and clicking it in there and a cheap little wooden table, throwing on a little cheap light, hanging on a wooden clock, maybe putting a peg for your glasses and another little tiny corkboard. And you're talking about something that's not even 10 by 10. And having a notebook and a cup of coffee and a calculator. And that's the staple for basically what people are saying is the new norm. Panasonic is working to bring the magic of cubicles to your work from home. And so what they're coming up with, it's going to be roughly around, they say 88,000 yen or $835. So it's called the Komaro, Komru Home Cubicle. So this is a cubicle that is supposed to give a little bit of life. They don't really look like they have much character. In fact, to be honest, they don't look much better than a pegboard. I think a pegboard might actually look better. I'm sorry. But for $900, I think we could probably get something in Home Depot better. I don't know.
Yeah, you probably could construct your own, and I was, and I wish I could, I actually could break up the picture, but but for sake of time, I won't do it. So yeah, but just to describe this thing, it looks like it's just sand, like they just took the wood and plywood and just sanded together. As I don't know what they tried to do, like they sandblasted the wood or something. So it's pretty hideous. It's not really that
I don't think it's worth
stylish.
$900. But
No,
the funny why Panasonic's
yeah,
getting involved is so Panasonic wants you to put more of your technology there, the laptop,
yeah,
the best sounding earphones, your glasses, maybe an everyday packet pouches like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're saying the average work week is not 5 days, guys. It's 6 days due to COVID. And
yeah.
this is giving us the
That's
seventh
I
day
can
off. I'm
definitely
so
agree
glad
to
about
that.
that. What's that?
Yeah, I can definitely. They're on the right track about that. It's definitely been 6 days instead of the traditional 5 days. So you got no excuse no more.
No, there's absolutely no excuse, and I think people don't quite get it. I think people feel that there's a magic bullet to solve a problem. The truth, Marcus, there is no magic bullet. We got to hunker down and get through this. But I think the main thing that's going to get us through this is our attitude. But we got to take action. You
Right.
can't just sit on the sidelines, right, and hope he's going to throw the football. Get in there and throw the darn ball.
Absolutely.
But our friends at Fortnite, you remember them?
Yeah, I remember them. So
The Epic Games, yeah.
what's going on with
I
Fortnite?
wouldn't want to be them. It's been over a week since Fortnite, formerly the name actually Epic Games, initiated the unprecedented antitrust legal fight with Apple in their Apple Store rules because they were finding a better way to make purchases by taking it out of the Apple Store, and that's against the Apple protocol.
Right.
They take 30% out, but I guess that's okay that Apple can take 30% out. That's okay, right? So Apple entered into evidence a series of emails from the Epic CEO, Tim Sweeney, and I quote, in which he asked the top Apple executive to exempt Fortnite from its standard 30% cut and to allow Epic to offer its own mobile app store. Wow. I wonder what's going to happen there.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty ugly, so there's going to be a bunch of, mudslinging.
I think more than mud, I think that there's going to be some permanent ink or paint.
Yeah.
If Epic were allowed to provide these options to the iOS device users, consumers would have an opportunity to pay less for digital products and developers would actually earn more money. Wouldn't that be a concept?
Wow.
Wow, developers would actually get what they're worth instead of the middlemen taking all the money.
Yeah, so what is the whole thing about that, John? Why is it that, I'm just curious, why do you think that the developer, isn't entitled, why do you feel like the developer isn't entitled to their,
I
to
think
their
what it
creative
comes
works?
down to is this, Marcus, when you have an idea, if you're not known yet, everybody says you're nobody, but I disrespect it. I think everyone should be respected, whether you are the CEO, the president, the entrepreneur, the janitor, the cook and bottle washer. I think there's a stereotype that goes along that if I don't have the multi-million-dollar company, well, then I don't deserve to even make a dollar. And I think that's wrong.
Right.
But they brainwash so many people, Marcus, that they've just started adopting this philosophy. And I feel that between Sweeney and Apple's executives, legal team, a lot of stuff's gonna be thrown up in the fan. Sweeney actually sent an email at 5:08 Eastern on August 13th, the day of the eventual removal. And the Epic chief executive tells Apple CEO Tim Cook and fellow executives Phil Schuyler and Craig Federich and Matt Fisher that Epic will no longer adhere to Apple's payment processing restrictions. Sweeney goes on to warn Apple of the forthcoming legal battle. If Apple chooses instead to take punitive action by blocking consumer access to Fortnite or forthcoming updates, he says in the final email, then Epic will regrettably be in conflict with Apple on a multitude of fronts: creative, technical, business, and legal, for so long as it takes to bring about change if necessary for many years. So I think this is a great thing that's happening with Fortnite. I think a lot of these people are just too shy to make a move. And we've even talked about issues with Amazon, right? And so people go, oh, well, you can't do that. This is Amazon, right? Yeah. That's what it comes down to. So, it comes down to that point. And I don't know. I sometimes believe the big guy is not always right. And the small guy really can get the worm or get the prize. He or she just has to, be clear on what they're doing.
Right.
But we're going to keep an eye for you guys on Epic and what's going on and what fires are lit up and what seems to happen and what antitrust laws were broken or not broken. So we're gonna keep you focused on that as we always get the latest briefings. And this is just coming to you from April 21st, which is the day of today's show. But speaking about driving forces and what's going on, do you remember, I'm not sure if you remember, but a while back, there was actually a company. This company was actually called the Google Self-Driving Project. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
So they've now changed their name. They're called Waymo. Waymo. Wow.
Okay.
And they're saying driving today is not as safe or enjoyable as it should be. And,
of course they would.
So you're telling me that by employing technology, we're going to have safe driving. I mean, it seems logical, but I got to be honest with you. There's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. And there's going to probably be a lot of accidents. And I have a question. Whose insurance pays for that? It's not mine. Exactly. Are we going after the car insurance company?
Yeah, that's a real good question. Like how insurance companies are going to insure these driverless vehicles, so who do you sue then?
That's my point. Yeah,
artificial intelligence.
And how do you sue? And who do you sue? Because now if you sue a car, you go and sue the car manufacturer. But not only is the car manufacturer involved, you're going to sue the people that actually made the self-driving system. You're going to sue the sensor company. You're going to sue the people that did the navigation. You're going to probably sue a host of 10 or 12 people.
Yeah.
So it's going to become a major class action lawsuit. It's not going to be as simple like, oh, well, I'll just sue the company that made the car. It's not that simple, because now we're talking about decisions that are going to be made quantitatively based on artificial intelligence. So Waymo, for those of you who don't know, is a self-driving technology company. And they believe that they can have a vehicle that will be able to drive without any human intervention. And they're hoping that their work will empower people to give them independence in their life, so that when they're not able to drive, that they won't need to rely on anybody. I don't know. I think the vision is good, but I think it needs some more thought. Waymo created the world's first public education initiative around autonomous vehicles. They called it Let's Talk Self-Driving. They bring together a diverse set of communities and interests with a shared belief that fully self-driving technology has the potential to save lives, improve independence, and create new mobility options. I don't disagree with the fact that it could cause safer lives, but what my problem is, Marcus, is that what happens while there's a learning period? There's going to be a lot of accidents during that AI learning period, right? Or are they going to just bang up a few million cars before they get it right?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because there's so much to expect far as like changes in different road conditions, and not every city is the same.
Exactly. And I know I actually have an MDX, and one of the things I love about it is the fact they call it, every car manufacturer has a different name for it. They call it lane keeping assist. which in English is basically two technologies in one. When you turn on lane keeping assist, your car will stay within lane when you enable cruise control, and it will automatically keep you in that lane.
Right.
So it kind of follows the road with a camera. That's what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And although it works really well, I'll tell you when it doesn't work well, when it's raining or it can't see the road. And if it's got a lot of terrain in the road, guess what happens? You get a little notice saying steering required.
Mm-hmm.
Because the car can't quite, let's say, capitulate exactly where it needs to go. So they claim that they have a zero tolerance policy, okay, about safety is an essential part of their mission to make it safe and easy for everyone to get around. I love the mission. They say if you believe your driver is under the influence of drugs or alcohol, end the ride immediately and dial 911 to contact the authorities. Well, great. You can contact us directly to let us know about any issues related to Waymo trained drivers under the influence of drugs or alcohol by filling out this form or contacting rider support via the app or this vehicle on the site. I mean, I don't know. I just feel that it's too new. You know what I think of it like, Marcus? I think of it like, you remember voice over IP technology, which started out many years ago?
Yeah, I remember that.
So, right. So voice over IP technology allows you to carry on voice over the internet. So voice over IP technology came out in the early 2000s. They started out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't anywhere near perfect. In fact, when you had a call, you ever remember the game telephone? And you'd say, hello, or my name, and somehow my name is George got out to, are we going to the restaurant? Like, it totally got, because one person changed one part, another part, and then where they changed, and so much parts got changed that it's like, where the heck was the original message? In fact, 100% of the message was destroyed.
Exactly.
So I see this as being the same, I could say, type of problem. But voice over IP started in around 2000, and it didn't get perfected till a few years ago. So if they're starting this now, I don't think we're going to see it perfected for a very long time.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. You know, it's just too early to start calling this thing a hit record, so to speak.
I like that. And nobody's life is going to be affected on voice over IP. I mean, yes, you can't get a message through. Okay, well, find another way to communicate. Use your home phone. But no one's lives going to be affected, right? I think the only danger to that was when you dialed 911. Some voice over IP providers, when you dial 911, the company that put the system in didn't put the proper address in. Or I love the best one. They have this a lot of governments do this. They have these phones in multiple branches, and then they have 4 or 5 branches across, let's say, a county or what have you. And now you dial 911. Well, the main billing, let's say, goes to an office in Bergen County, but you're actually an office in Morris County.
Yeah.
Where did the police, where the fire go? They have systems to handle this, but a lot of them had not set up the inter 911 communication system properly. When you dial 911 on your phone, they actually get your name, your address, and your location. When you do that on a system phone that's not properly configured, you just get the name of the company and you get the main address, and they have no idea where you are. Maybe they'll get that you're in room 207 or something, but 207 is the same in every building, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So by the time they've actually helped you, I bet the building might have burned down and the person might have died, unfortunately. So I think that's the only fear of that. But I think our roads have to go a long way for Waymo. I think technology has to progress. The software predicts the movements of everything around us based on their speed and their trajectory. Mm-hmm. So although it's got some great benefits, I just don't think it's ready. I'm not ready to sit behind a car that's going to drive me.
Oh no, yeah, it's just I can barely get in the car with some people. So
yeah, what do you call those? Like, we're the backseat. I mean, one thing, you don't want to be a backseat driver, but it's one thing if the person jams on their brake. I can be very calm in the car, but after they've jammed on the brake 3 times and I'm in the car like 30 minutes, now I'm starting to get a little proactive. Like, okay, there's a traffic light coming up, right? You know there's somebody in the road. Right? I got you. Okay, well, maybe, just maybe, you might want to start braking now. I got it. I don't need backseat drivers, right?
Yeah, I got a sister like that, so Yeah. So
So you can
I have her car, and now I'm starting to figure out why it rides the way it rides now. So.
Well, I've not been a big lover of fast food chains. I've actually been
Oh,
off
not at
fast
all.
food for I've been off soda for, I'm going to say, probably over 20 years maybe, and I've been off fast food for probably over 30. It's a long time.
Yeah.
And but something interesting is happening with fast food during the pandemic. They are allowing people to order silently. One of the restaurants is Burger King. Imagine going to Burger King and wearing a mask that says a double steakhouse, please, or says a double mat or whatever, or a burger with fries or whatever it is. I mean, so now face masks will communicate your order for the staff at Burger King. And I think more people are going to jump on this bandwagon. Turning personal protection into the midst of a global pandemic. This gentleman, and I'll quote him, Mark K. Tatum from LinkedIn. He mentions this, and he said it's in poor taste. And Michael, I got to agree with you. He says, I usually like Burger King's marketing, but this crosses the line. And, I agree that there's opportunity, right?
Right.
But I think the challenge is that when we use opportunity in a bad way, that's a problem. So, creating a mask for somebody and maybe putting a marketing message on it, I don't really have a problem with that. But I think using it as an ordering tool, I think that might just be stepping the line just a little bit.
Yeah, because then, it's like, okay, what do I do? I have to buy a value meal worth of masks to put my order in. It seems a little odd.
So now you pick up a mask when you go to Burger King with what you want. I guess at the portal or whatever, and then you wear it and you go to the drive-through and they know what you want. I'm not a lover of that, Marcus.
No,
really am not.
it's really, really poor taste. In the way this is used. I mean, if they wanted to create a fashion statement, then maybe. But in terms of trying to utilize it as a tool, I can't see it. It's really odd.
I like another comment. I want to comment, and I want to quote Scott Comerford, who made an interesting comment on LinkedIn, and kudos, Scott. Scott says, and I quote, being as all the Burger Kings I have visited in North Carolina, I have speakers that you have to order at prior to you getting to a window with a person. I doubt these would work. Those speakers are not set up with video. Secondarily, people always change their mind at the ordering point. That's a good issue there, Scott.
Exactly.
It's human behavior, right? It's our nature.
Right.
The idea they could make up their minds before hand and stick with it would be too much to ask from the average person. Most of them have closed into the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. As for the marketing practice during the pandemic, it's like advertising on ventilators that their equipment will provide the best sleep you'll ever have. Very poor taste. And I agree with you, Scott. I think when you use marketing, you really have to be alert to what's going on. But I think you have to be sensitive to what you're saying. I mean, obviously you don't want to see something that's R-rated, but you want to be mindful about what you're doing. I mean, that's like going to your pharmacy and putting down what kind of personal prescription you want, right?
Right.
I think that's a little impersonal, and I think it's really bad taste. There's another one I would like to quote here. There's a lady here, and she has a different perspective. Now, I don't know if I agree with her. Lenora Polanski, creatively brilliant, refreshingly departure from all the heavy, serious messages that are all blend together. Not easy to find humor amid the COVID cases. Burger King nailed it again. Burger King prints orders on face masks so customers don't even have to speak. I mean, there's always going to be one, I guess, that likes the idea, but I don't know. I just think we're really just flipping way too much. And, saying to people, I want to create my custom COVID mask, I get it. but I don't know. I just feel that it's a problem. And, with Burger King doing this, they announced that 500 customers in Belgium can now order via customized face masks if they comment on a specific post. Oh, so what they're doing is this. They're not actually putting them in the venues, Marcus. You have to comment on a post and then they'll send it to you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I like that. That
Yeah.
is really poor. So now you're making me comment on a social media post, okay, abusing me to get my traffic. And then you know what you're doing? Then you're making me put that mask on. So it's not even for everybody. It's really kind of discriminating, Marcus.
It is. It really is.
I see now. I see why it's. I mean, I thought it was in poor taste too, but I think if you really look at it, it's funny. They always say in the media that you do something good, you never get on the news. You rob a bank or somebody gets killed, you're front page, right? And that's not funny. But it's always something how they always have time for the bad news. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Getting on a different topic, we have lots of workers out there, but what would it be like, Marcus, to work in another country?
You know what? I'm all for that. I wish, I could go work in another country right now. So at this point, so I will pick New Zealand.
Okay. Well, they are claiming right now
Yeah.
that a lot of these dreamy destinations that you may know of, like Bermuda, British Overseas Territory in North Atlantic, they've launched a new residency program that is open to employees who work for legitimate overseas firms or their own company and have health insurance. So what exactly does that mean? Well, that's a great question. It means that they're actually going to give you a visa to work in their country remotely.
So dual
Could you see
citizenship
yourself,
almost.
let's just think of this, could you see yourself dialing into Zoom calls from a sun lounge on a Caribbean beach?
Oh, that sounds nice, John, actually.
Yes, so maybe we should put you in Barbados for 12 months and a welcome stamp where you can earn anywhere to, they claim, 50,000 US and up. I don't know. The sunshine is definitely powerful, but I don't know. I think there's
You think there's a catch?
They're claiming that they're going to give you a temporary visa to work over there. Some are saying that it's going to be 90 days. Others are saying it's permanent. I don't think it can be permanent. They're saying 90 days.
Unless you apply for dual citizenship, yeah.
Well, yeah, and then they got to agree to it. And getting citizenship in these places is like next impossible. So they're saying you want to escape from America, 12 countries where you can buy citizenship and a second passport. Ooh, that's exactly what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
So some are going to say this is a perfect
perfect
opportunity to pursue the fantasy of their life that they never had the chance to explore. But good news for remote workers is that Americans with wanderlust, that's what they're calling it,
Okay.
and more countries are starting to create the programs to lure travelers who want to relocate and work abroad. That's very, very interesting. I don't know. There's something that doesn't sit well with me on that. What do you think?
Well, this is where we might split the road here, John, unfortunately.
Okay.
I think with everything happening here in America, you're going to find a population, that has a similar mindset like me that says like, hey, I'm kind of ready to bail out of here, and just maybe just make some butts here, make some butts there, and and choose where I want to live. Until the climate of things improve here, or at least the sanity of people's mindsets improve here. But then on the other hand, too, I can kind of see where you may be going down, what road you might be going down, where it may be more patriotic to just stay home front and keep and pay the taxes here.
Well, most people, Marcus, find that the advantages of working from home far outweigh its disadvantages. So that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the main advantage of not having to commute saves time, reduces stress, and imagine being in one of those great places. But really, Marcus, it's going to come down to the laws, I think, of the specific countries where the person is working and any tax treaties that they have with that country. Because most countries, anyone working while residing in the country is subject to that country's tax law. citizens in the U.S. are subject to U.S. tax laws regardless of where they reside. Did you know that? So
Yeah, absolutely.
if I am working in the U.S., but I live in Barbados, I have to pay tax in the U.S., and I may have to pay tax in my own home country as well. So you know what that
Yeah.
means, Marcus? They're going to have to file returns. Listen to this, in 2 countries and possibly pay tax in both of them. Now, I ask you this, do you think it's still worth it if you have to file 2 tax returns? Okay, forget the file 2 tax returns, but now you hear that you got to pay taxes in both countries.
Well, that's the point. That'd be the biggest drawback right there.
You changed your tune, Marcus. What happened?
Yeah, now it's when you start saying to yourself, well, can I take just 60 days then and then come back? So and not make it an extended stay.
Exactly. And all these things happening and people selling all these gadgets, like, these, I call them fads, Marcus, like the quick light that you can, rub around. It's supposed to magically get rid of your infected surfaces by just spraying it or holding it around. They even make a device, a bag now. You can go to these stores and put your stuff in a bag, and in so many minutes, all your items, your phone is now disinfected. How many years have we been using our phone? It's probably not disinfected.
Oh yeah, it's probably one of the nastiest devices you got in your pocket right now. So that's why
Mine's actually on the table, so it's not my pocket.
yeah, there's a lot of people who carry it in their pocket. So yeah, you gotta get that thing sanitized. So is this thing pretty effective, John? What
I
else do
haven't
you know
had the
about it?
chance. I have not had the chance to try it. I'm on the fence with doing an unboxing with it. But I don't like to do unboxings on things that I feel really reserved about, and I'm kicking the tires on it. I think the price tag on it's like $30.
Oh, that's not
Seems,
too bad.
which doesn't seem too bad. But it's we usually don't do medical tests on our show. So what I may do is actually bring a fellow chemist
Okay.
who would like to come on our show and maybe ask them if they'd like to do a medical test on it for us.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm an engineer. I'm not a biochemist. Don't claim to be one. But on our show, when we get an area, especially when it's about technology, in another field that relates to technology, well, we bring another expert in. And I think that might be a great idea for someone to come forward to test one of these things. I mean, I can do the unboxing and talk about it, but I'm not gonna be able to tell you how many microns it kills or anything more than the battery and some of the features. And I don't think that's a service to our viewers. You know what I'm saying? I think it's important to tell people the truth about these products. Just because it has a nice light and it beeps doesn't mean it's worth buying.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But I know a lot of people, when they see that, oh, I gotta have that. My boyfriend, my girlfriend got it. You gotta have it. It's the latest thing. Okay, great. Go get it. Then you're gonna return it. So I think it's one of those things. But I don't know. As we move around, how do you think the pandemic's been around you? How do you think the challenge has been? Has it changed much by you, Marcus, or no?
Well, they since they have mandated masks here in the city of Milwaukee, where which are the where the DNC would have been, the DNC convention would have been here in Milwaukee.
Yes, I know.
They have reported that there's been a drop in the cases that we are getting. So it appears that the masks are working. So yeah, I think for the most part, if people continue to practice social distancing, people continue to protect themselves, and follow, stay healthy, especially. I think that's the biggest key: staying healthy, doing everything you're supposed to do to be healthy.
I agree. You can't live in a cocoon, Marcus, but I think you have to just be sensible.
Yeah, be very sensible, be very, very, very pragmatic, when you go out.
I don't say wash your hands 10 times a day, but if you do leave the office or come back or change a doorknob or something, go wash your hands. Go use some of that gel or something. But I have one more topic. It's actually bothering me.
Okay.
And I think it's really important for our viewers. Have you ever gone to Amazon or maybe YouTube, and you see these great videos, and they look really great, right? You know, like Mike or Joe or Bob, and it's so easy. And all you need to do is just take this apart and do this, and literally 5 minutes after dinner, you too can have your sprinklers installed. They're not your sprinklers, but you too can have your wall painted with the Easy Go roller or whatever. You know, ever seen those
Yeah.
commercials?
Yeah, I see a lot of those things, and they really selling them. Try to sell you on those.
Well, they have a name for them now. They
Okay,
call them
what
the
are
deep fakes.
Oh,
They
okay.
are becoming terrifying for our future, someone had quoted. So what is a deep fake? You're probably wondering. Well, it's a video that's crafted very well in technology that came out in 2014.
Hmm.
And this one particular student named Ian Goodfellow, a PhD, who now works at Apple, and says that most deepfake technology is based on generative adversarial networks, GANs, to be short. So a GNS enables algorithms to move beyond classifying data into generating or creating images. And these deepfakes are very dangerous because if we should forget the fact that there are over 30 nations actively engaged in a cyber war at any time, then we got a real problem. And
Yeah.
deepfakes are going to be a problem because it's not a matter of if you're going to come in contact with one of them, but when. So
Exactly.
Disney is getting into the deep fake game as well. Did you know that?
Oh yeah. I can already see why they would. They have long been known for advancing in different green screen technologies already on screen. So and a lot of different things they do to give you the magical
So
illusion. So
one organization that's really starting to nip the bull here is Facebook. So they're taking a positive step toward this by banning deep fakes using their algorithm. They started doing this earlier this year. Other companies are doing more deeper things like TikTok and Twitter, and government institutions as well, and colleges, because what happens is they seem so credible, but yet they're not. And most
yeah.
Americans have already lost faith because of things that were deep fakes.
Mm,
So the best way to protect yourself from a deep fake is to never take a video at face value.
right.
Quote, says Hickerson. So when these videos come out, I don't know if they just seem to just spit whatever comes out of their head or if they just want to try to confuse people. But I feel that a lot of our media that comes out, Marcus, I just feel that it's not truthful. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just there, but I don't know. It just is it like what Ross Perot was trying to do? He's not really trying to win. Is he just trying to get votes or get people away from somebody else's website? I mean, you have to wonder, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got me on the track. So you just got to be careful. You can't believe everything that you see or read, and especially when they have these funnels. And not that I'm against them, but I'm not in love with them either. You get on this site, and a good percentage of the population that doesn't know technology will click on something, and in less than, I don't know, 60 seconds, they just spend $200.
Yeah.
Or they spent $19.99 because it's normally going to be $3.99 or $17.99 or like $1,000, but you too can get it for only $89.99. The timer's ticking down. I mean, why do people get so attracted to this crap, Marcus? I mean, that's what it is. Why do they get so attracted to it?
It's a real good they're using psychological mind tricks, and things that they have researched over the years, that they have found to be have found to work. And I guess no one has done what you doing, and that's spill the beans and unveil the I guess the evil that's actually happening. So
Well, you,
you know,
you, you know the truth. You know I do that. So if you're a good
yeah,
manufacturer, or you're a bad manufacturer, it doesn't matter. But if you get your product in front of me and you donate it to us, we'll actually put it on our unboxing show and we'll review it. So if you have a good product and you'd like me to unbox it, get in the nitty gritty, now you can't pay us for this. You can't tell us what to say, but we take a look at your product and we review it after doing the unboxing. After that, if we want to, at our discretion, we'll invite you to come on to our show, maybe talk about the technology behind the product and maybe why people should get more involved and what we like about it. So again, product or service, you can visit jmor.com, click on reach out. There's a little reach out button up the top, reach us, then go to the web inquiry form, and then just go ahead and click down the reason, which is donate a product for an unboxing. And of course, if you would like to submit an idea to our show, you can fill out the idea form right there as well. You know, this show is for you guys, and we want to make sure that you're getting value out of it and you share this with your friends, your colleagues. You know, we want to make sure that not only are you enjoying the show, but you learn something about it, and maybe it helps you save money in life, or get you to take a pathway that maybe you didn't, because we actually helped you from not buying something that might have maybe cost you some challenges, or maybe it helped protect your identity. I don't know. But our show is all about education, and it's all about helping you as a business owner, as a homeowner, as a family member, as a citizen, use technology in a more effective way, because I say that you can use technology for good, you can use technology for bad. I am John Morley, serial entrepreneur here with the JMOR Tech Talk Show. And I hope you will choose to join us again next week. What time, Marcus?
We will be starting between the times of 4:15 and 4:30. So, you know, that's
on your time, and on Easter time.
Yeah, on Easter time, it's 5:15, 5:30.
All right. So you guys know where to find us. And if you missed any bit of this show or you want to share it with somebody, just go ahead and visit jmor.com. Under social, JMOR shows, usually within less than 8 hours, we post the show right on there, and they're all stored from a LIFO, last in, first out. Share it with someone you know. Let us know again what you want to see on a show, and we're going to do that. Incidentally, when we reach 10,000 viewers, we're going to open our lines for live calls. Now, we've got a little ways to go. We've got some good numbers on our show now, but when we reach 10,000, that's what we're going to do. And in about another few weeks, we're actually going to do a contest and get you guys involved. We want the audience to be involved. We want you to like and enjoy the show. The show is for you. And I want to thank Marcus again for being a great co-host tonight.
Well, thank you very much, John. I really appreciate that. You know, you do awesome as always. You know, so guys, you're going to continue to stay hooked up and connected with John.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the JMOR Weekly Technology Show, where we answer your questions about how technology is supposed to work and sometimes why you have challenges getting it to work that way. For more IT support and tips, just text IT support to 888-111. That's IT support to 888-111, and you'll get tips on technology. I'll see you next week right here on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Remember, JMOR.com.